here at USBC. Now, if you are a Black-owned restaurant or food services company, listen up. The USBC Restaurant Grant Program helps restaurants receive funding to address business opportunities and current challenges. Now, the fund is made possible by the Grubhub Community Fund, and it'll support over $500,000 in grants to Black-owned restaurants and culinary-based businesses in select cities like New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, and more. Now, the first initiative of its kind, this unique partnership launched to support Black-owned restaurants by giving them access to capital and resources to ensure competitiveness in a changing post-COVID-19 restaurant landscape. Now, this includes new technology, equipment, staff incentives, and building enhancements. So grants will range from $2,500 to $10,000 based on program criteria. Now, the size of the business need and the need itself will also be evaluated. Application submissions for restaurants in New York are currently open, and they close this Friday, September 16, 2022. So there's still time. Now, rollouts to other select markets will continue over the next 6 months. So please check our website for additional funding rounds. Now, for those who are interested in participating, please visit https://usblackchambers.org Grubhub to apply. I want to thank you all for tuning in today and continue to look out for different opportunities that we have at USBC to help increase access to capital and to help increase and improve your businesses. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.
Onto the stage, invite our moderator to as well, Zanade, to the stage. Hey, girl. Welcome back. This next panel is going to be awesome. When it comes to the Black business community, you know, we're so vibrant, we're thriving, and ripe for opportunities to connect and innovate. But I think one of the challenges is how to build your network from zero, right? So we're going to be learning from leaders who created amazing networks and learn how to tap into the business industry, right? And tap into getting advice for your. So I'll let you all take it from there.
Thank you much. I am so excited to be here. And yes, I was jamming. I was hoping that we played the entire song, but it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to go into some introductions. I am Zanade, the founder of the Black Women's Business Collective, and I am so happy to be in community with powerhouse women. I'm calling them on LinkedIn Queen Networking because I'm excited. I hope to get some gems. I know that you all are going to get some gems today. So let's get right into it with some introductions. So our first panelist, Malia McNaughton. She is the founder and jewelry designer by Malia McNaughton, designer based in Brooklyn, New York City. Growing up, the youngest of 5 kids in the Bronx, Malia was fashion obsessed at a young age and often reinvented her style. After graduating from Florida State University, she seized opportunities to work with New York City's leading fashion. So welcome, Malia, you are here. Next up is Talisha Bekavac. She is the executive, sorry, I mispronounced that. Talisha Bekavac, executive vice president of U.S. Black Chambers. So she leverages over 50 years of corporate and nonprofit experience for the United States Black Chambers. In her role, Talisha works with policymakers to promote legislation that expands small businesses and addresses the unique challenges facing the Black business community. So welcome, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have the founder and chief executive of Mielle, Monique Rodriguez. Monique founded Mielle in 2014 after her healthy hair care regimen for tailbone length hair became somewhat of a craze among her social media followers. The company began on the back of one product, the Advanced Formula, a unique proprietary blend of herbs, amino acids, and minerals to support healthy hair, skin, nails, and the immune system. She is also, at this point, the company is the largest, and correct me if I'm wrong, the largest African-American hair brand in the country. And happy to have you here, Monique. All right. So we will get right into it as far as networking. Networking is something that we all need. And I know we are the women on this panel are at a level in their career, in their business, where some may think they network. And we all know, no matter what, whether you're at the top, the bottom, whatever level in school, alumni, wherever you are in life, networking is truly important. So I want to ask the panelists, and we'll start with Monique, to think about a time when you were growing, Mielle, that networking helped your business and next or opened the door for you.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And so when I think about like my journey over the past 8 years that I've been building our company, the reason why we are the largest African-American hair care company is because of networking. And just one example, so one of my investors is Richard Lou Dennis, opened up New Voices investment fund, which funds 100 million towards Black entrepreneurs. I met Richard Lou Dennis when he was considered a competitor, right? Because he was, still the owner of Shea Moisture. But however, I never looked at him as a competitor. I looked at him as someone that was very, I admire what he had been able to build with Shea Moisture. And I remember going up to him and introducing myself to him and letting him know who I was. And, listen, like, this is not a competitive thing. Like, I just want to tell you, like, I admire, what you've built. And so, that was just the initial first contact that we made that connection. And, I always tell people, like, you may not connect with someone right away, but as long as you continue to nourish that relationship and you continue to, check in here and there, that's how you nourish a relationship, and a relationship can grow. So over the maybe 3 years, I continued to keep in contact with him and, just check in on him to see how he was doing, send a quick text message. It didn't have to be a long conversation. And 3 years later, he became, one of the first investors at a time when I needed the investment the most. I tell this story all the time. We had an investor turn their back on us at the point where we were depending on that investment. And I remember reaching back out to Richard Lou Dennis, like, I want you to be an investor in the company. And, we connected back up from that relationship that happened 3 years prior to, and he became one of the first company invest in Mielle, which, it was so meaningful for me because, again, it was a relationship that happened so long ago. So I always tell people, like, don't despise, small beginnings. You may not connect first round, but, continue to nourish that because it has definitely paid off for me. And, to even the investment now, and, it's been very public. We took a 9-figure investment deal where I still maintain majority ownership. That was because of the connection with Richard Lou Dennis. He connected me to those people to help me to get to where I'm at today. So literally the things I have accomplished has been networking from years ago.
I have so many questions off of that, but we will save that for a little bit. I mean, that's powerful. But Malia, I'm interested in your story as well, as far as networking with your current business.
Absolutely. And I share Monique's sentiments that similar in my current mentor. I have a few mentors, but one of them I met a couple of years ago, and she actually purchased a pair of my earrings, and I wasn't fully aware of how connected she was in the jewelry space at the time, but it was such an authentic first interaction. She reached out to me, she purchased the earrings, and she said simply, Google me. And I was, taken aback, but I'm like, I'm definitely going to Google you. And when I did, I thought that was so profound that, she had accomplished all these things in the industry, and that she found my jewelry, in all the jewelry that she's seen in her career. And so that was about 2.5 years ago. And then I ran into her at an event, and she immediately recognized me because I was wearing the earrings, and nurtured that relationship and continued to stay in contact, checking quarterly, kind of let her know where the brand was and where I wanted to take it. And she's been so instrumental in helping me one of my first retail locations, and has just continued to make sure that, anything that I need when it comes to building the brand, she's there to support. So I think it's so important, like Monique said, to, even if time has passed, still keep that connection there and build and that relationship to be nurtured.
Love that. I love that. Talisha, you have such a wealth of knowledge and experience throughout your career. So for you, what was that? You've been in a few companies, and what has been that turning point for you with someone opened up a door or at least helped you where you are at now, and how did you secure that?
Sure. Well, I'm a LinkedIn champion here. I am big on LinkedIn. It's been my secret to opening up so many doors for me, especially during COVID. Couldn't get out and go to conferences and network. LinkedIn was, and for me in 2020, so many companies came out in chorus almost with these commitments to support Black-owned businesses in 2020. And it was really important for me to follow up with those companies and realize those commitments, because so many times in our community, folks show up, get the vote, and we never hear from them again. And so there was a particular company, Pokemon Go, came out with a commitment and said, hey, we want to support Black-owned businesses. This is a part of our solidarity agreement, et cetera. And I said, wow, I don't have a connection with Pokemon Go, but I need to find out a way to meet with them. So to go to any conferences, I went to LinkedIn, and I just started to research and see, who in DC would be connected to Pokemon Go. And I found out that I knew one of their government relations and public affairs firm through just rolling through LinkedIn, trying to see my 2-3 steps connections from Pokemon Go. And so I reached out to a colleague of mine and say, hey, I see you're connected with the community impact manager at Pokemon Go. Would you be open to doing an introduction for me? I saw that they made this commitment on Black entrepreneurship. Would love to talk about who US Black Chambers is and how we can be a vehicle to support their initiative. And so she responded back. She said, sure, don't be selfish with your relationships. You never know when someone can open the door for you. And so long story short, that became a LinkedIn connection where she, and you can just do it through introduce people that way. Mm-hmm. And she did that for me. And I had a phone conversation with the company. They were so ecstatic to find me because they said, we have been Googling US Black Chambers and we had you on our radar. We really want to support. And literally in 2 months, we got $1 million donation. Wow. Pokemon Go, to support Black entrepreneurship and our programs. And so think about the economic impact that made for small Black-owned businesses in 2020 when folks were struggling to get the pay section program and there weren't programs. The US Black Chamber was able to take that funding from Pokemon Go, Niantic Labs. You guys are watching. Thank you for your support. And we were able to dole out so many grants to Black-owned businesses to keep them afloat. That's my story.
That's amazing.
And how that made a difference for me.
Wow. Let me say that is amazing. And it is a perfect second, Malia, with this next question on how are you or how have you leveraged connecting with people online? And so I want to preface that I know that everyone on the call is very well accomplished, but think about how you're still using it, or if you're still using it, and if not, answer that way as well. Interested, Malia, if you want to answer, that's cool.
Sure. So a couple of months ago, or about a year ago, I had an article with CNBC get published, and a gentleman reached out to me, and he said that he was inspired by my story as a self-taught, self-funded story designer, and he recognized some similarities in our story. And he wanted to know if he could help me better pitch my brand to possible investors in the future, or what he could do. He said he was a coach in that way. And so we connected, we did a tank type setup, and he had some fellow MBA colleagues on the call with me, and they really helped elevate me as a brand and as an entrepreneur. And I was so grateful for that connection because he reached out to me, but I made sure that I kept in contact with him and told him that I was interested in that culture, that it was something he wasn't overstepping and suggesting that I may not have wanted. But it just showed the power of connection and how, someone can resonate with your story and want to see you grow and want to help you through that process. And so I was really grateful for that because that was very instrumental in helping me elevate as an entrepreneur.
That's great. And Monique, I think you're a rock star. I actually caught one of your So if for the community that may not know, can you speak a little bit with your customers online and specifically with Instagram?
Okay, you broke a little bit. You said, can you speak customers? I don't know if, are you the only one? Is she the only one breaking up for me?
No, it's breaking up. Yeah.
So I kind of missed the last part.
Oh, sorry about that. So my question was, can you speak a little bit about how you connect to your customers and your community on Instagram, because you are quite active over there?
Yeah, so it's been the platform of choice that, I chose to build the brand on. And, that was 8 years ago. The algorithm wasn't what it is today. It really allowed you to connect with so many people across the world with just your phone and your fingertips, right? And I really leveraged Instagram to build connection and engagement by being very transparent in my journey, and sharing, how I started the brand. Like, I really didn't hold back, and I still don't hold back today. And, I engage with people. I answer questions. People send me DMs. I try to respond back to as many DMs as I can, because, the average, when you think about it, and we reach out to people on social media, like, they don't respond to our DMs. And I said, I wanted to do something a little different. Like, I want to be that CEO that people can relate to and trust, and know that, like, what I do, I'm really passionate about it. And I really want to see you, the hair care space. Like, when you use our products, I want you to love the products. And how do you love the products? By being educated on the right product to use for your hair, the right technique. And so I really leverage social media, just to get my message across, and to communicate, and to overly communicate, and to overserve my community with my. And so that has worked really well, because I came into this space seeing that there was a lack of relatability. There was a lack of education with myself being a customer. Like, no one was speaking to me in my language. Like, they were talking at me, not talking to me. And so, I talk to my customers like we're girlfriends, because I feel like we are. When we talk about hair, you remember those kitchen and salon conversations. You talk like you're talking in the salon with your girlfriends. And that's how I chose to really communicate with my consumers. And it has done really well for us. People are engaged, and they love the brand, not only just because of the products, but they feel like it's something that resonates, with them as a person. And, we're engaging and talking to them.
I love that. And you had mentioned a little bit about follow-up, and I think this is really important. So we hear it's important to you all share some best practices or some things that you have done personally to follow up with people, or to connect and engage with people using, whether it's email or social media. Now, this is regarding networking, so not necessarily responding to clients or anything like that. But how do you really follow up in a way that is not over, so you get ignored? What's some tips that you can give us? Talisha, do you want to start first?
Sure. So I have this mantra, and I learned this early in my career, that fortune is in the follow-up. I don't even know how many conferences, love conferences, and everyone's so quick to run up with a business card. So I walk away with all these business cards, especially if I'm speaking on a panel like this. But I have a rule to one, intentionally attend conferences, both as a speaker and as a participant. You should be doing business owners at least once a month, just to grow your business and get awareness of your brand. But really follow up with people and be intentional in your follow-up. Before you reach out to anyone with the follow-up, go to their website, do a little bit of research. Everyone has a news tab where they might have written a press release about, hey, Mielle is buying Made by Malia. So what does that mean? They're going to be looking to implement new technologies, new processes. And so you can learn that by doing research. And if I had this card from a conference, I would follow up and say, dear Malia, nice to meet you at ABC conference, the Yelp Business Summit. I saw some great information about you buying a new company. And I imagine that that's going to bring on new challenges, new opportunities to partner with you and see if we could talk about ways that I do A, B, C, D, and always use the which close. The which close means I've got some time available on Tuesday morning or Thursday afternoon, which is better for you. I leave every single email with a question. It gives people mentally, it's like, oh, I need to respond. And that is the best that I have used for decades. And it has helped me close business deals, get jobs, help people make joint ventures, but really being intentional with your follow-up, doing research beforehand. And I also want to remove 7. I get a lot of cold emails and I respond to them after the third one or second one. I never respond to the first follow-up because I really want to see how tenacious you are and how big of a target I am. So just persistent follow-up, thoughtful follow-up with they've provided about their business. That will get you tons of dividends. I guarantee you your follow-up rate, your close rate on your business deals will go up because people care not about who you are or what you know. They care when you connect with it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I hope y'all, because you can learn something new every day. So I didn't know about, what was it, the rule of 7?
The rule of 7.
Wow. Do you all follow something similar to that? That's interesting. That's the first time I heard that, to see if someone is going to. Yeah, that's amazing. All right. Do you want to respond to that question as well?
Absolutely. And Talisha, I hope if I reach out, it doesn't take 3 tries to get you.
Well, not you, Malia.
Maybe 2, right?
I I love that. I believe in building your capital, and I believe in, and I take tips from what Talisha said as well, to as soon as I make an intentional connection, because for me, it's not about connecting with 50 people, connecting with that 1 or 2 people that I really want to make that connection with. Stepping away after our conversation and taking a quick note in my phone, that was an area that I didn't realize how powerful that was until I started doing it. Partly because I have bad memory, because if they point out like their favorite animal is a flamingo, every time I send them a card in the mail, it's going to be a flamingo on the front. So just really being intentional about those connections. And it really stands out. The industry I'm in, the jewelry, is very small. And so when you make those intentional, someone will go out to dinner with someone else and then mention that they met you. And if you left an impression on that person, that could, by segue, open up a door for you because you left such a lasting impression. So for me, it's about making sure that I'm intentional about those connections, taking notes, and then in those notes saying when I'm going to follow up, what they liked about our interaction. It takes a little homework, like Talisha said, but it's worth it, because if you make a solid connection with 3 or 4 people and carry that throughout the years, you'll be forever paid back for it. So it's important.
Great. And Monique, how do you follow up at this point in your business, in your professional life?
Yeah, my whole goal is to make myself memorable to whoever I encounter and who I intentionally want to network with. So if I meet someone at an event or online, I immediately follow up soon as we exchange and hey, nice to meet you. Looking forward to connecting. Let's hop on a Zoom. Let's do lunch one day. I always want to make sure that I'm offering something so it's a reciprocal relationship and I'm not the one that's always taking from that person. I also want to know where do I add value in this relationship as well. So one of the things, and I know I've heard this word a lot throughout this, is being intentional. Actual follow-up, I also want to get to know that person. So I try to take the time to get to know that person by sending a text message like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day going? And I've also set a calendar invite on my calendar every Monday morning to send out insults or inspirational messages to whoever I'm trying to connect with or stay in contact with. Because if someone is going through a day, or if they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, if they get that inspirational quote that's going to just the whole trajectory of their day, that's a memorable moment. Do it. And that's one thing, you have to be consistent in your efforts of reaching out to people and talking to people. So I just made a note to consistently just reach out to people. Every Monday, I send them an inspirational quote. So that way, if I do reach out to them for something else, it's not hey, oh, she's only reaching out to me because now she wants something, like want to get to know people. I really want people to know that I'm a genuine person and that I care, and I care about your well-being. I care about your mental health, because I know that as like high profile figures, or, you know, people that, you know, are out here busy and building businesses and brands, you have a lot of people that's always coming at them, take, right? And I never want to be taken. I want to genuinely get to know you. I want you to know that I care about you as a person, and I want to be memorable. So you'll always remember, like, oh, if I see Monique out somewhere, like she made me feel great on that Monday morning when she sent that inspirational text or quote, right? And then another thing that I like to do is I like to, I guess you can say, stalk people, right? But I follow people's social media and I find out what he'll be attending, what conferences, you know, how can I connect with them in person, so like present. So not only did you remember me from sending you those inspirational texts, but now you also remember me because you keep seeing me at different events. So my hope is to just make yourself memorable so you won't be forgettable.
Yes, love it. I'm over here nodding my head. I hope everyone else is. But this is, you know, you all are making this very easy, because this is a great segue to talk about when is enough, right? So when do you say, okay, this person really is just not responding? So we have this rule of 7, but after the 5th email, or, you know, maybe we're not doing the strategy. And I love Monique. I love that Monique said about going out to an event, maybe a virtual event, in person, whatever it is. That's a great strategy. But when do you just say, okay, they're not interested, or they're not following up, or maybe they're just really busy? And what do? Do you keep on following up after the 5th time of reaching out? Talisha, do you want to start?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like I said, the rule of 7 says that someone has to hear your message 7 times, a prospect, before they will respond. So keep in mind that people are busy. There's a lot of marketing material coming at us. But if you've been persistent, you've changed up your outreach method, that's another trick. Like, try to not just do email. My trick is to do a phone, do an email, and follow up with the phone call. Don't leave a voicemail on the first phone. Follow up with another email and say, hey, I called you. Did you see my missed call? 4th time, call again, leave a voicemail. It's just, you know, keeping it fresh. But after you've done that 7 times and you haven't gotten a response, I would say the last email is say, hey, I understand that you're busy, and although I see a lot of mutual synergies, I want to be respectful of your time. So, and then maybe you want to just ask them, hey, can we, you know, is it possible that we can look at this later in the year, or, you know, possibly next year? Try to kick it way down, assuming that they're busy. So that would be a suggestion. But also, as business owners, you should be using some sort of customer relationship management system, some sort of CRM. And no matter what, put everybody in your CRM so that they get your mailer, and so that you know that there's some, you built a relationship in your career, or within your business journey. So those are my 2 tips. The CRM is really important as you start to scale, because you forget to follow up with people, and you think you've only done 3, and you'll know checking in your CRM whether you're at 3 or at 7. But if you've got a good value proposition, really hone in on a pitch and make sure you're being intentional and making it about them. I think you'll see your response rate go way up. But if it's just that they're not interested, or they've been non-responsive, you know, on that email, maybe just give them an option to kick it down the road to next year. And at the last step, make sure you enter their name, number, business, birthday, whether they like flamingos, in your CRM, so that you can, you know, passively market to them with your news and updates on.
Yeah, that's great. And as you grow your business, Malia, what are your thoughts on what Talisha just said as far as the follow-up?
She hit the nail on the head. Definitely CRMs have been super helpful and a game changer for me, because that you are keeping track of those connections, because there might be some follow-up needed. They might need me, for example, my line sheets or my brand book. And so I want to keeping track of what our last interaction was, and keeping track of those birthdays and when our next connection should be. So CRM have been super impactful, and I suggest anyone who's trying, even if it's just an spreadsheet, if you keep track of those first names, last names, and just the general contact, it can really help you not get so overwhelmed with having to keep track of all that stuff in your mind.
Awesome. So we just have, that was quick. We have a few minutes, probably like a minute or two, stretch it, maybe 2 minutes. I have a question, but I want to make note that Mielle has a new product out. So go and support that and go follow Monique on Instagram. And then also Talisha and I were talking about the importance of the U.S. Black Chamber. So if you're not in a local chamber, go Google, do what you need to do and join, because it is very important. And then Malia, I would love you to all go and support Made by Malia and follow online. And my last question would be, what are you all reading right now? What are you listening to that you believe would help the entrepreneurs that are listening and viewing? Monique, we'll start with you.
Okay, so right now I'm currently reading a book called CEO Excellence. And it really teaches about being a top CEO and doing it with excellence and really honing in on having great leadership skills. Focus this quarter has been, how can I sharpen and be a better leader for my team and help my team really understand the vision so they can continue executing the vision and continue feeling, like they're a part of something that's really special and unique, which is Mielle. So I really been focused books, and also a book that I would recommend is T.D. Jakes' Soar. I love that book. It helped me in the beginning of my journey with entrepreneurship. And then also another book that I really love that helps you change your mindset is You Are a Bad Ass. And I don't curse, but that's the name of the book.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I love that. Malia, do you have anything that you're listening to, reading about all the gems? We want them all.
Absolutely. You're a Badass is the reason I became an entrepreneur. So definitely recommend it.
Wow.
And then The Power of Habit, to learn those consistency habits, very, very helpful as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Talisha.
Sure, I'll get the last word. I'm reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'm that person that is up at 3 a.m. and can't go back to sleep because I'm thinking about my next day. And sometimes I just have to get up and start working because I can't sleep. So The Power of Now is a book that teaches us about mindfulness and just how to quiet the analytical mind. And I think as leaders, it's important to meditate, to be mindful, to do yoga, whatever you enjoy, to kind of just unplug. So I'd encourage folks to read that. And again, have to thank Zanade for the plug. How can I not mention the Chamber of Commerce? It is one of the best, if not the best, networking platform that you're going to find right in your town. If you're not a member of a Black Chamber of Commerce in your city, please visit the U.org. We've got 150 chapters all around the country. There's one next door. You just don't know it yet. So get involved. Go to a meeting. Go to a conference. It's a network for us, by us. And so hope to see you guys at a meeting soon. Thank you so much for having us.
We have a big conference coming up in October, if I'm correct. Buy Black?
Buy Black is going to be coming up. Best networking conference for Black businesses, period. October the 19th at MGM, National Harbor in Washington, D.C. Buy Black Con, BYCKCON.com. Come check us out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a celebration of Black-owned businesses. And we'll have probably at least 60 corporations there that have publicly committed to supporting Black-owned business. Come and get some of these business deals, y'all.
Love it. Any parting words? Thank you. Thank you.
So first of all, thank you for having me. It was an honor to be here with some amazing other, business women, business leaders in the community. So I'm just truly honored and thankful. And, I just want to tell all those that are tuning in, the saying network to your net worth is, my quote is relationships are currency. If you nurture those relationships, if you continue to keep in touch, like if you continue to just be intentional about getting to know people and also making sure that you're reciprocal, like that will be your currency. So always remember that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Malia, any parting words?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I hope that the attendees continue to build their social capital. You can currently visit my collection in partnership with Tierra Whack and Banter online and at 500 stores around. So super excited for that, and just continue to build your network.
Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you for everyone tuning in. This has been amazing. I have tons of notes. I cannot wait to put some of those into. Have a great afternoon. Thank you all the time. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies, so much for your time. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to our moderators, Zanade, and to all the phenomenal panelists as well. And once again, you know, I gotta share with y'all. So one of my favorite quotes from that panel was, "Make yourself memorable, not be forgettable."
Hello, I'm Philip W. Dunn, Program Manager here at USBC. Now, if you are a Black-owned restaurant or food services company, listen up. The USBC Restaurant Grant Program helps restaurants receive funding to address business opportunities and current challenges. Now, the fund is made possible by the Grubhub Community Fund, and it'll support over $500,000 in grants to Black-owned restaurants and culinary-based businesses in select cities like New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, and more. Now, the first initiative of its kind, this unique partnership launched to support Black-owned restaurants by giving them access to capital and resources to ensure competitiveness in a changing post-COVID-19 restaurant landscape. Now, this includes new technology, equipment, staff incentives, and building enhancements. So grants will range from $2,500 to $10,000 based on program criteria. Now, the size of the business need and the need itself will also be evaluated. Application submissions for restaurants in New York are currently open, and they close this Friday, September 16, 2022. So there's still time. Now, rollouts to other select markets will continue over the next 6 months. So please check our website for additional funding rounds. Now, for those who are interested in participating, please visit https://usblackchambers.org Grubhub to apply. I want to thank you all for tuning in today and continue to look out for different opportunities that we have at USBC to help increase access to capital and to help increase and improve your businesses. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.